All right, so first and foremost, I'll start off by saying Barakathon, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shah. And I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Rakakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And shout out to the whole free last start with the 144,000. Shalom. All right, so I just want to go into title lesson will be never mention slacking. It will say, slacking. It will be the wicked never be mentioned again. I'm titled "The Wicked Will Never Be Mentioned Again." As you see, it comes from inspiration, reading Isaiah 14 through the spirit of power, how about Shem Shah. But it's a precept of the elder apostle Tahar had quoted as they was doing the street ministry live yesterday, and it hit me in the spirit. As I was reading it, I kind of had when they quoted it, you kind of went into it, and I had paused it, and I went and read up from Isaiah 14 in verse 1. Because when you truly understand it, when he was going into Jeremiah 51 verse 1, and Elder Apostle Gabar had read the heading, the headline, or the subheading, and it was titled, it's basically was saying, the judgment for, what Babylon did to Israel. And we know this ain't talking about ancient Babylon, because when the Babylonians came and took into captivity the kingdom of Judah, which was the Judah, Benjamin, Levi, was the southern kingdom, right? The northern kingdom was already a captive under Assyria, but we understand prophecy, which led us all over here, right? In Esau kingdom, Babylon, right? In this Babylon, which is America today, we all was in captivity over here from the so-called Native Americans, right? The Judah, the so-called blacks, things that says the oppression, the things that they done to us over here is going to be recompense for that, right? And one of the things that Yahweh Shah going to do is he's going to wipe out the wicked, right? And they're going to, and their kingdom is going to be brought to the ground, man. Right? I did a lesson probably a week or two ago, I titled America will be actually a week today. I think I did last Sunday, right? America will be the biggest desert, right? But they're going to go into, how Esau's going to be wiped away. Esau's going to be done away with, right? Obadiah chapter 1, right? They're going to be brought down, right? After they get down with their captivity, we're going to tie them up and burn them up. So Lord willing, right? Got a few precepts I'm going to go into, I'll read Isaiah 14, right? And flow through the spirit, and going to go into Job as well, and Obadiah, right? Lord willing, we're going to try to make this no long one, we'll flow through the spirit, right? So this is Isaiah 14, and I'm going to go back and forth in the KJV, the NLT, and I'm also reading it in in the NIV as well, from the Blue Letter Bible, right? But I'm in the KJV right now, right? And I'll start at Isaiah 14, and I'll start at verse 11. It says, "That prompt is brought down to the ground." Or it's like that prompt is brought down to the grave. That's talking about his pride, right? Pride go right for the fall. It's like it, right? And the pride of Esau, the Most High is going to destroy that pride. The Most High is going to break it down, and everybody's going to see. Everybody going to see Esau's pride be destroyed. Everybody going to look at them and laugh at them, right? We're going to read that later down in the chapter, right? And Isaiah 66 and verse 24 talks about it as well. I got that precept in my notes. Talk about it as well, man. They're going to be brought down. Everybody going to see them being brought down to low, going from riches to rags, man. Right? It says thy prompt brought down to the grave, and thy voice of thy voice, the worm is spread under thee, and worms over thee, right? And it's like the noise of thy voice, like the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee, right? And that's going into the decay of the system, right? Esau Edom system falling down. It's like I heard someone come in, so I paused, right? But that's going to the decay of the system, the falling of the system falling apart. Right? I got it right here in my notes, right? I'll read it, right? Worms spread under thee and cover thee. That's the decay of the system. Their morals, and physically, right? And America's becoming weak. This place is falling down. That's why they try anything and everything, any tactic, any ways to try to force in that new world order. As I did a lesson the other day, just peeping how, they cut out the EBT, but they also got the EBT RFID, right? Basically, instead of them having a card, you're going to have to get the chip to get that. And we know, You know Esau tactics, man. Through the spirit and power, how about Shah truly believe they're gonna tell you, hey, in order for you to get the EBT back, you gotta take this chip, right? You know they trying their best to do it. They system is decaying, it's falling apart. They try their best to keep it together. It says, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? That's the light bearers, the elites, the Illuminati, right? The ones behind the scene, those top banking families. They said, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground with the weak of the nations, right? Because they're going from, I mentioned earlier, they're going from riches to rags. They're going, all that money, all the things they try to build, man, all that's going to be destroyed, going to be brought down. Malachi 1 verse 4. They said, what they shall build, I shall throw down, right? It says, for thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. Excuse me. I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Yahweh. I will sit upon the mountain of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the cloud. I will be like the Most High. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to do. They're trying to control everything. They're trying to be in charge of everything. They're trying to find a way to get immortal life, to allow this system to survive, allow the system to be great, right? You know, that's some notes right. I read it right. Given that MOTB, they will be in control. They'll be able to control. What should I say? They'll be able to control, track, and know everything going on, right, all the time. You know, he'll be able to know that, right? But, you know, the same thing they build up to, the crafty things they build, was that Job 5, right? The Most High take the wise in their own craftiness, right? The same thing they build up to try to have this place prolonged, the same thing is going to be used against them to destroy this place, right? It says, here's the point, or here go one of the points right here. It's a fire precept, right? It says, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the side of the pit, and that's the destruction, that's the fire, this place is going to be destroyed. Ain't no such thing as hell, right? But this place is going to be destroyed. It's going to take destruction. That fire is going to come upon America, and Esau going to be brought to that, put back in the position where they truly are, the Lord of the Lord, the basis of men, right? And they're going to be, after they get done with their with their judgment for slavery, they're going to be wiped away. They're going to be wiped away, man. They're going to be done away with, right? The wicked is going to be done away with, right? That's the fact. I'll read that Job right now, actually. This is Job 18. I'll read 5 and I'm jump down. It says, yet the light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine. So the light is going to be put out. They're going to be done away with, man. Right? America going to be destroyed. This is their empire. Bozrah. Bozrah was the capital of Edom. This is modern day Bozrah right here. And once you destroy this place, all the empire going to fall apart. It's going to become weak. And Yahweh is going to come destroy the rest. And we're going to tie the other nations up, throw them in slavery. We're going to tie Esau, Edom up, throw them in slavery. But when Esau, Edom done with their slavery, they're going to be burned up. They're going to be destroyed, done away with. Right? So this is Job 18. Going to jumping down to verse 14, he says, his confidence shall be rooted by his tabernacle. The tabernacle going to the body, his confidence is going to be taken away from him. Right? It shall bring him to the king of terrors. Who is that? How about Shah? His confidence is going to be took from him. Right? If you even go to 2 13, it talks about the war in heaven. It talks about how, they even going to be scared to fight, but most are going to put the spirit on them to fight. Their confidence is going to be taken from them once Yahweh Shah and the angels fill the sky, man. Right? They're going to be took from them. They don't know that they beat, they cook. Right? Because you can't go against Yahweh Shah. That's why, Jake, you got to understand as well. Yahweh Shah is going to handle the physical part for us. We got to prepare for this fight spiritually. Right? There's going to be a lot of spiritual wickedness, a lot of spiritual temptation that try to pull us and drag us away. Right? But we got to handle our part spiritually, and Yahweh Shah is going to handle the part physically for us. Right? Verse 15 says, it shall dwell in his tabernacle because it is none of his. Brimstone shall be scattered upon his habitation. His roots shall be dried up beneath, and above shall his branch be cut off. Right? Was that Malachi 4:1? I shall leave neither root nor branch. They're going to be destroyed, man. They're going to be done away with. There ain't going to be no more Esau, Edom. There's going to be no more wicked, man. Right? It says, his remembrance shall perish from the earth, and he shall have no name in the street. Right? The wicked will never be mentioned again. Right? The wicked will never be mentioned again, man. He shall have no name in the street, man. The wicked will never be mentioned again. Right? Verse 18 says, he shall be driven from the lights of darkness and chased out of the world, man. Right? He shall neither have son nor nephew among his people, nor any remaining in his dwellings. Right? They're going to be done away with. All of them. Right? Even going by Isaiah 14 says that same thing. Son, nephew, all of them, they're going to be done away with. The wicked will never be mentioned again, man. Right? I read that again. Matter of fact, We'll grab that in it's like it. We'll grab that Job. We'll grab that in the NLT, right? It's Job 18:5. It says, "Surely the light of the wicked shall be snuffed out. The sparks of their fire will not glow." Right? Going down to verse 14, it says, "They are torn from the security of their homes and are brought down to the king of terrors." So the homes of the wicked will burn down. America's going to be destroyed. Places are going to be destroyed. They also going to be destroyed. It says burning sulfur rains on their houses, right? The destruction, the chariots bringing that destruction, bringing that curse that Habakkuk, I want to say, chapter 5 talks about, right? That curse upon the earth that was the chariots going to come and bring that destruction upon this place. Their roots will dry up and their branches will wither. All memory, it's fire. It says, all memory of their existence will fade from the earth. No one will remember their name. The wicked will never be mentioned again, man. No one will remember their names, right? So they will be thrust from the lights of darkness, driven from the world. They will have neither children nor grandchildren nor any survivor in the place where they live. This place is going to be made desolate, man. This place is going to be destroyed. In the kingdom, after they're done with their slavery, right, we're going to tie them up and burn them up and do away with them, man. They're going to be, they're cooked, man. They're done, right? The wicked will never be mentioned again. Their time is up. They had a run. Yahweh Shai gave them a run, and that run is over with, right? So this, we at verse 16, right? It says, they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth tremble, that did shake the kingdoms? Because you know Esau got that power right now, right? These bombs, the war, the destruction, right? That they got that power right now. They instilled a lot of fear in a lot of people. Right? That's why Yahweh Shai is going to bring them down. So everybody looking at them, laughing at them. Right? They're gonna be low. They're gonna be back to their regular position, basis of men. Right now they trying to fake it. Because, well, obviously, the Most High is working with them. The Most High blessed them with the facts of the earth. He blessed them with the sword, but he's gonna come take that from them. And they're gonna be put back in their position, basis of men, low of the low. Right? Right now they look powerful. Right now they look powerful. That's why Yahweh Shai gave them that power. Right? Because they'll be able to see the ones, and the ones who ain't, if the elect has the spirit of Yahweh Shai, they will fear Esau. But the elect don't fear Esau. They fear Yahweh Shai, because we understand he in control of all of this. He the one gave them the power. Don't nothing go without him setting it. Right? He do good and evil. He controls everything. Right? And made the earth tremble by those bombs, the war, things of that such. Right? It says that did shake the kingdoms, that made the world a wilderness and destroyed cities, bombing cities, right? Bombing cities, doing all the things, destroying the earth, oil spills, all type of things. The pollution, right? When I was in college at Syracuse, we did it was like a little summer job I had, and we were going around basically trying to get people to sign off on a bill because these plants and these things were messing up the climate. So people are having to pay, the people have to pay more money on taxes in order for the schools, water to keep the air conditioning on, even your air conditioning, because the pollution is messing up the climate. They're destroying the earth. So you have to pay more and more money even just to be able to survive in this place, right? That's what they're doing, right? And it says they open our houses as prisons, right? And America got I got it in my notes. America got the top prison rate. America has the number one prison population, right? It says, all the kings of the nations, even all them that lie in glory, everyone in his own house. But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, right? Because they're going to be brought down. And the remnant of those that are slain, thrust through with the sword that go down to the stones of the pit as a carcass tries underfoot, right? People are going to see they're weak in their lower state. As they'll see 624 as I brought. I'll bring that out real fast. But they're going to be brought down, man. They're going to be nothing. They're going to be rejects. Nobody's going to want to be around. They're going to be nothing, right? Isaiah 66 and verse 24, it says, and they shall go forth and look upon the carcasses of men that have transgressed against me. But the worm shall not die, neither their fire shall be quenched. Meaning, this is going to go on forever. Right? This is going to go on. Don't mean that they're going to be burning on fire, but it's going to go on forever, man. They're going to be destroyed. This ain't no getting away from this. Ain't going to be no end for this. This will America. Smoke, the scripture was talking about the smoke. The smoke shall go on forever and ever, because this place is going to be inhabited. This place is going to be inhabited. Right? There's going to be no habitation here. Nobody's going to live. America's going to be desolate. Right? Same thing with Esau, Edom. They're going to be destroyed. They're going to be gone, right? He said they shall be an abhorring unto all flesh, right? Nobody gonna be around. Nobody want to see them, man. Right? They're in slavery, even when the only day we're not going to be on their asses on the Sabbath. Even when we stop beating them on the Sabbath, guess what? They're going to have nightmares, man. They're going to be going through it, right? It's Isaiah 6:24 NLT says, and as they go out, they will see the dead bodies of those who have rebelled against me. But the worms that devour them will never die. The fires that burn them will never go out. Because it's going to be forever on them. Until they're done away with, it's going to be, only time they're going to get rest is on the Sabbath. And they still going to have nightmares about what we're doing to their ass. He says, all who pass by will view them with utter horror, right? Nobody gonna want to be around them. Nobody even want to be next to them, man, right? So this is Isaiah 4, going back to 14, and we're at verse 20, right? It says, thou shalt be joined with them, and thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers never be renowned, right? It's like you're saying that wrong. But the point is, right, the precept that the elder Apostle Hart had quoted it for them to read. They actually read it, right? That he made spirit for me to go into this, because this goes into showing you that, like in my notes, right? Meaning once they get taken down, they ain't coming back. They done, right? They done. And when I had went and read this I was going to the Blue Bible, to look at the words and whatnot. I seen it in NIV. Right? Verse 20 says, you will not join them in burial, for you have destroyed your land and killed your people. Let the offspring of the wicked never be mentioned again. They will never be mentioned again. Right? They're going to be done. They're not going to be renowned. Once we get to rulership, ain't nobody come back in the rulership. Not only that, Esau's done. The wicked will never be mentioned again. Esau's cooked. Obadiah 1, which we're going to go into when we read on down a few more precepts. Right? They're going to be cooked. They're going to be done. Right? They're over with. They'll never be mentioned again. They're going to be tied up, burnt up, and done away with, man. Just as well as America going to be desolate. Esau, we're going to get rid of them, right? We're going to get rid of them, man. So I want to read this in the LT as well, starting at verse 11. And I'll just read it down because we just broke it down in the KJV. I just want to read it, right? Isaiah 14, I'll start at verse 11, right? It says, your might, your power buried with you. The sound of the harp in your place has ceased. Now maggots are your sheet and worms are your blanket. How are you fallen from heaven, O shining star, son of the morning? You have been thrown down to earth, you who destroyed the nations of the world. For you say yourself, I will ascend to heaven and set my throne above Yahweh's stars. I will preside on the mountain of Yahweh's far away, of the powers far away in the north. I will climb to the highest heavens and be like the Most High. Instead, you will be brought down to the place of the dead, down to the lowest depths, which they are, the bases of men, right? Low to low. He says, everyone there was stared at you and asked, can this be one who stood the earth and made the kingdoms of the world tremble? Is this that pride gonna be brought down, man? Right? It's gonna be destroyed, man. He says, is this the one who destroyed the world and made it into a wasteland? Is this the king who demolished the world's greatest cities, had no mercy on his prisoners? The kings of the nations lie in stately glory, each in his own tomb. But you will be thrown out of your grave like a worthless branch. They're gonna be rejects. Everybody gonna see them. That stigma gonna be on them, right? We're gonna expose them for who they really are, right? That's why in these last days they're being exposed. They've been exposed in the kingdom. Everybody gonna know. We're gonna be on their ass, man, right? And like I mentioned, right, that they will never be mentioned again. Once they're done with their time, once they done with their judgment, they're gonna tie them up and burn them up, right? It says, brought great like a worthless branch, like a corpse trampled underfoot. You will be dumped into a mass grave with those who kill in battle. You will descend to the pit. You will not be given a proper burial, for you have destroyed your nation and slaughtered your people. The descendants of such an evil person will never again receive honor. Right? And now we get back to the KJV reading on down, even as we read Job 18, right? On down what it said, right? The son and nephew and all those be destroyed, right? That's what it says right here. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the faces of the world with cities, right? It says, for I will rise up against them, said the Lord, Yahweh of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and the remnant, the son and the nephew, right? It's like I'm repeating the call more fast. Salaki, right? But it says, for I will rise up against them. Let's cut this off. They try to call this phone. Right? It says, for I will rise up against them. If I rise up against them, says the Lord Yahweh of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name, the remnant and son and nephew, says the Lord Yahweh, right? So everybody's going to be cut off. The wicked will never be mentioned again, right? Matter of fact, I'm going to read that since I had quoted it earlier. Malachi 4:1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn in another, right? The destruction, right? All the proud, all that do wickedly, talking about Esau, Edom, shall be stubble, which we're going to read, Obadiah, right? And the day that cometh shall burn them up, says the Lord Yahweh of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. So they all gonna be done away with, man. They all gonna be done away with. And that's why in the last day they've been exposed who they really are. Right? And that's why even Apostle Hart had mentioned this the other day. I can't remember what it was definitely a street message. I can't say it was a week ago or 2 weeks ago, but he was talking about how, you can even see how Esau treat you now to show you how much they care about you, how they really feel about you, what type of person they really is, right? Most High really showing you now, but Jake in that Stockholm syndrome, they done fell in love with their captives, man. They done fell in love with the ways of this place. They don't even see the wickedness upon them, right? So let's see. We can read that. We can read verse 21 and 22 in the NLT, right? It says, kill this man's children. Let them die because of their father's sin. They must not rise and conquer the earth, filling the world with their cities. This is what the Lord Yahweh of heaven army says. I myself have risen against Babylon, right? And it's not talking about ancient Babylon. It's talking about America today. Because even as Pastor Hardin, even as the elder apostles mentioned before, this even how you even know that is showing you how in ancient Babylonians they came on the southern kingdom, right? But here in Babylon, America, they done break about it. It was time of Jacob's trouble. It been a time of Jacob's trouble. Israel with all of the northern and southern kingdom. We all done went through this place. But that's all prophecy led us over here, right? You got to see how Yahweh Shem play it out. It's his movie. He said it this way, right? It says, I will destroy his children and his children's children, says the Lord Yahweh. I will make what is really the point right there, right? But con, man, right? So going from there, when you go to Obadiah chapter 1, right? We'll start at verse 15, right? It says, for the day of the Lord Yahweh is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done to thee. Thy reward shall be upon thy own head. And all the nations that done these things unto us, especially Esau, it's going to be recompense unto that. What's that? 2 Thessalonians 1 or 1 Thessalonians 1, right? Is a righteous thing, right? Okay, 1. Could not be 2 Thessalonians 1. Yeah, 2 Thessalonians 1 in verse 6, right? Sin is a righteous thing with Yahweh to recompense tribulations to them that trouble you. It's a righteous thing. That's why that righteous anger, that recompense, right? For the things that they're done, right? It's Obadiah, right? It says, for the day of the Lord Yahweh is near upon all heathen, right? Mainly Esau, Edom, right? But all the other nations are going to get as well, as thou hast done. Because all these nations have had us in captivity, right? We done been in captivity amongst all nations. But this done in one of the worst ones we done been through. It is the worst one we done been through. It said, for the day of the Lord Yahweh is near upon all heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done to thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head, right? Esau going to see all the things they've done unto us, right? Mainly for what they did to the Israelites. But even the other nations going to get their lit back too, right? Everything going to come back against them. They ain't getting no rest, right? And we gonna get all the other nations as well, right? We gonna get everybody who does something to us. We gonna get them back. But people gonna get their lit back on Esau, Edom as well. Why you think the Ishmaelites, it's the Iraq, the Ishmaelite, why you think they hate them, right? Everybody, that's what I'm saying. When we in the kingdom, Esau gonna have that stigma, right? Esau gonna have that stigma, man, right? It says, for ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, we're talking about Israel, talking about Israel. We're getting with the elect, with really the whole nation, right? It said, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yeah, they shall drink, they shall swallow down, they shall be as though they have not been, right? Because they're gonna be captives, they're gonna be slaves, right? They ain't been in that position. So it's the same position that we in, they're gonna be right in that position, right? They're right in my notes, right? Just like we have no right to slave, they won't have any. And we're gonna be even worse on them than they were on us. We're gonna be 2 times worse, right? 10 times worse. It says, but upon Mount Zion, meaning Israel, shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions, because they're going to be our slaves, right? And we're going to be made righteous. We're going to be made righteous. That's why Yahweh Shem shall allow us to learn the evil ways and the good ways, because beginning with Yahweh Shai, King David, and the elect, and the rest of the nation, we're going to be made perfect, right? And we're gonna rule. We're gonna be fierce on them, man. We're gonna be fierce on them, right? All the laws of Yahweh Shem is gonna be enforced on the whole earth. Everybody gonna follow, right? And if we go against it, we're gonna beat you, right? Verse 18, right? It's the point. It says, "And the house of Jacob shall be fire," right? Don't Jacob name was changed to Israel, right? Jacob, and the house of Jacob shall be fire, and the house of Joseph a flame. Joseph is referring to Ephraim, because Ephraim is Ephraim and what I was gonna say. Oh, it's like the house of Joseph and Ephraim is interchangeable, right? The beginning of you know the head tribe of the northern kingdom, they're interchangeable, right? He said the house of Joseph a flame and the house of Esau for stubble, right? Would you read that in Malachi 4:1? Right? It said they shall kindle and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord Yahweh has spoken it. Right? It's gonna be done away with. The wicked will never be mentioned again, man. They're gonna be done away with, right? And I wanna just prove a point real fast on that. Joseph and Ephraim interchangeable. I got a precept real fast. Right here. Numbers 132. Of the children of Joseph, namely of the children of Ephraim, because they're interchangeable, right? They're where when you see Joseph, Ephraim is interchangeable. But the point wasn't verse 18 is the latter part of it, right? Again, right? It says, I read it again. The house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, right? And the house of Esau for stubble, because they're going to be done away with. We're going to burn them up. After they're done slavery, we're going to burn them up, right? And they shall kindle in them and devour them. And there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord Yahweh has spoken it, man. Right? Ain't gonna be any remaining. The wicked will never be mentioned again. Right? So with that being said, Lord willing, holds less with edifying and exalting. And I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And shout out to the whole for you last. Start with the 144,000. Shalom.